Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we are going to discuss about two-point perspective. As we already have learned about the one-point perspective, the basic rules of two-point perspective is also the same. The learning two-point perspective is one of the smartest things you can do as an artist. As a result, you will be able to correctly identify the angle that sides of object make and draw them accurately. Basically, we are going to learn all details of two-point perspective in today's lecture, and that will help you understand the drawing better, and it will also help you to identify the correct angles of the drawing, and you don't have to create any kind of guess or any kind of thoughts, incorrect lines. It will help you to identify the correct angles of the drawing. You have to remember one thing, that if we are going to draw a perspective, then perspective is a drawing system. You just need to follow the system to get good results every time with no guesswork. You don't have to guess anything, you just came to know each and every angle and each and every line where you have to put it. The basic rules and the basic concept of two-point perspective is, we are going to discuss is it right now. The first point is, how does the subject look like when you are going to do a two-point perspective drawing? When you are looking at two-point perspective drawing, it means you are going to look that object from one corner and the other sides of the object will be seen by you. It's more like the edge of the object or edge of the scene is front of you, and it is dissolving on the sides of the drawing or on the side of the sheet. The second, you are viewing the object of scene so that you are looking from the one corner. Is that correct? It means if we are going to look a box, one edge of the box will be in front of us. It's not like the view is not like the one point perspective where we are looking at the elevation, front elevation or side elevation of the object. In parallel to that, we are in two point perspective, we are looking at the edge of the object with two sets of parallel lines moving away from you, and the center of the drawing is the edge of the object, and two parallel lines showing there, they are going away from you, and it shows the depth of the object. Every set of parallel lines has its own vanishing points. Two point perspective means that they there's that perspective have two vanishing point. So it means that the lines have its own vanishing points. One is at the right side and second one is the left side, and the lines of the right is going to vanish at right point, and the left lines are going to vanish at the left side. Two point perspective means that have that perspective have two vanishing points. Okay, each pair of horizontal lines that goes at the right side or left side, the top and bottom line of object, that can be a building, that can be box, that can be anything, reduced toward the left or right vanishing point. The left lines are going to vanish at the left vanishing point, and the right lines are going to reduce at the and meet at the right vanishing point. So it means the side of the vanishing point shows the vanishing object's vanishing point. So is that okay? We will see that in the next slide as well. The set of parallel lines, the vertical, are still straight up and down. As we have used vertical lines in one point perspective also, which they show the height of the objects, and they are always right angle vertical lines, and they don't vanish at any point, they are straight. In two point perspective, we also have vertical lines, and they don't vanish at any point. They are parallel, they are not touching at, and they are not molding at any angle. They are at their own right angle, 90 angle, and they are showing the height of the object. These are the basic lines which are and lines and basic rules which are shown in 2 point perspective. We are going to discuss about the basic lines which we use in 2 point perspective in the next slide, and we will discuss about the view which created by 2 point perspective. All the details will be discussed in next slides. As we already know about the horizontal line in 1 point perspective, what horizontal line do? Basically, in 1 point perspective, horizontal line define the view angle of the object, eye level of the object. In 2 point perspective, it shows, and its purpose of the horizontal line is the same. It shows the level of eye level of the viewer, and you have to decide any um, uh, viewpoint on the basis of that horizontal line. We need the most important part is we have to have a horizontal line which is straight and extended horizontal line. Then we have uh, to have a vanishing point. In 1 point perspective, we have one vanishing point. In 2 point perspective, we have two vanishing points. So we will decide which point is the vanishing point 1 and which is the vanishing point 2. In the same, we see that slide. We have two vanishing point and one horizontal line. The third thing we need is the height of the object, what we are going to make. And I already told you the corner of the object will be the frontal view of your object for you, and it will show the height of the object, and that will be a vertical line in shape of vertical line, and then we will decide the depth of the object. So the middle line over here, which is a little darker, is the object's height, and then we will decide where the object, what is the detail of the object and where it goes, and what is the detail of that object. So the basic three elements is horizontal line, vanishing points which are two in 2 point perspective, and the height of the object which is shown in with the single line in the mm, in the slide. Okay, in this slide we are going to discuss the basic type of lines which are used in 2 point perspective. We already came to know the basic line types which are used in perspective. Uh, in 1 point perspective, we have discussed about the basic lines, and these are the same lines which are used in 2 point perspective, and in 3 point and 4 point and 5 point. We will discuss it in next slides. It means the basic lines, type of lines is over there which are used in 1 point perspective, and there are some extra lines which are used in 2 point perspective, and we will understand them through these three images. One is in this slide we have three images. One is the construction lines which are creating a house. Second is a complete house, and over here we have the the basic line types which we are using in this 2 point perspective. Over here we have defined colors for the lines so that we can understand better from where the line is coming and from which angle the line is produced. So in this two drawings we are using red line, and because we already understand that we have two vanishing point, and these two vanishing points are shown as a red vanishing point and green vanishing point. At the point of red vanishing point, all the lines will be produced as red, and from the green vanishing point all the lines will be produced in green, so we can understand it better. So red is the one vanishing point, number one, and the green is known as two, number two vanishing point. And now the all the lines which we produce will be from the one that will be red, and from the green that will be two. For and third one is black, is used for the vertical lines. And over here we are going to use vertical lines which are black, and which show the height of the object. And the object is a house, and I- in the first step is to have a vertical height of the object, where you want to have the object at the horizontal line, below the horizontal line, or above the horizontal line. You have to decide it. Then you have to produce a vertical line which have its height. Over here the second object, uh, if we see the first object, which extra lines shown on it, the black corner line is the first line which is produced by the uh, for the drawing, and it have a height. And then we from the red side we created a red line at the top of the black line and bottom of the black line. And the same we have produced a green line from the top of the line and bottom of the line, and that will produce a box. I will show you that detail in the next slide as well. So the okay, and the horizontal line over here we are producing a horizontal line which show the in dotted and gray. You I think you can understand that horizontal line is basically the view angle of the object, and we will vanish it, or we will erase it when we complete the drawing. It is not needed to be over there. Okay, and temporary line for locating perspective middle is yellow lines over here is used to create when at when we want to have a middle of the object, because in the perspective we can't be able to have a measuring middle. That is the reason, because we have a perspective, and the frontal of the object is bigger than the back of the object, and we can't be divided into two equal parts, because the lines are slant and they are reducing their height and width. So we have to create a middle, and so the easiest way of creating middle is of a box is to create two lines, edge to edge, edge to edge. Over here we have seen the yellow two lines which produce over here. And then for the and the purple lines are used to be created slant lines to meet when we want to have create when we create something, and we want to make these two edges meet each other. We just create these slant lines, and we don't have to create an angle, just create point to point line, and that will be at any angle. In this slide we can see that step by step creation of a object which we are going to discuss, which we have discussed before as well. And it show all the type of lines which are used in this object. um, and the two vanishing points, red and green, and the vertical lines as black. And when we have to half of the object, we can use yellow lines. And as well, as if we want to have a slant lines, that is shown in purple. All the lines are shown over here in the last. If you see that we already have object, and then we want to create window. The windows can also be created from the red side. We can create size of the windows from the red side vanishing point, and at the second vanishing point from the green side, we can create green windows at any place we want to create it on the object. And we also create path for the house. It also the lines are coming from the green vanishing points and red vanishing point, both vanishing points, and they are showing their depth over there. And we can see that all the object, the complete object is showing its 3D image. And this image is completely you can say realistic, or more like the all the angles and all the requirements of 3D is more correct, and it's based on logical reasons. Okay, in this slide we are going to discuss about the horizontal line, which we already have discussed in one point perspective as well. In one point perspective, I told you about that horizontal line is for the view eye level of the drawing. So it is in 2 point perspective, it also play the same role. The horizontal line is the line where we have vanishing points, as well as it define the view of the object or eye level of the viewer. So if we gonna have over here, if you see that the upper, the first object, first box is shown from the we can see its bottom and sides, but we can't be able to see its top. So this eye view is based on warm eye view, and worms are like very close to the ground. And if we see the roof, it's more like if we are seeing the roof, or we are seeing some object or square or cube at the at our roof, we can see its bottom and its sides. We can't be able to see its top. So it's like if we are going to have any object at the top of the horizontal line, so its view is the same. And if we have any object at the horizontal line, if you see the second object, cube, it shows the side, right or left, and but we can't be able to see its top and bottom. Both are are not visible for our eye level, because we are standing at the same level of the object. This level is known as street level, and this is the most common level which we use to draw anything. And if we see the third one, the last object box, we can see the right and left side of the object and the corner. Of course, we in 2 point perspective, all the objects can be seen from the corner, because the edge of the object is the frontal view for us. Okay, and then we can see the top of the object and right and left of the object, but we can't be able to see the bottom of the object. This is because we are looking at the object from the top of the space. It means this is the bird eye view, which you already, I think, you already know that we have made plans and elevation sometimes on this level, and we can draw many things in bird eye view. So this is the level. These are the three basic levels which we have in to creating 2 point perspective or 3 point perspective or 2 point perspective or 1 point perspective. All the perspective do have their images, and we always decide this on the base of horizontal line. If we are going above the horizontal line, or bottom at the horizontal line, or middle of the horizontal line. And vanishing points are play very important role in 2 point perspective, which we will discuss in the another slide. Okay, in this slide we also see two vanishing point, and one horizontal line, and three cubes which is made by these vanishing points. Over here we are going to see about the distance value of the object to the vanishing point. If you see the top, the first object at the top, it is in the middle of two vanishing point. So if you see that the which we have created the square cube, it's almost from all the sides it's almost the same from the left and right. The height is defined by the it can define by you whatever height you want to have. Okay, we are going to discuss about the distance from the vanishing point. So the first cube is in the middle of the two vanishing point, and the right side and the left side of the cube is almost same. On the second one, which is the little bit below the horizontal line, um, which we have seen it is very near to first vanishing point, and it is very far from the second vanishing point. And this is the same cube which we created from the lines from the vanishing point to the object. And if we see that the second vanishing point and the right side of the cube is more visible to us than the left side of the cube. So it means when the object is far from the vanishing point, it shows the more details, and when it came near to the vanishing point, it shows the less details of the object. So it comes about the perspective of the object, from where you want to show and what detail you want to show more and what detail you want to show less. And the third one and the last one at the edge and the bottom is also a cube, and the height is also defined by the by us, and we are going to discuss about the angle of the object. And if we see that it is far from the vanishing point 1 and it is near from the vanishing point 2, but it is not as near to vanishing point 2 as the second object was. So we can see that the vanishing point from the vanishing point 1, it shows more detail than the vanishing point 2, but the difference of the two objects, two sides, from the right side, it's very minor less to the left side. And the top, because it's on the base of the horizontal line, so it shows the top of the object, and it shows that how object show the detail when it goes from the one vanishing near to the one vanishing point, and it is far from the second vanishing point. The detail is shown in this. Basically, we can have objects near to one vanishing point or far to one vanishing point, and that can be created in the middle of the sheet. But we try to have it not on the middle of the sheet. The horizontal line should not be very in the extreme middle of the sheet. That should be little bit above the middle or little bit below the middle, so it can create a drama, and it should not show that much symmetry that and it lose the drawing lose the interest and attraction for the viewer. So we decide to try to have that illusion and you can say drama in drawing. We are going to discuss the distance between two vanishing point. The most important part in two point perspective is to create two vanishing point. In one point perspective, because we have only one vanishing point and we can have that at any place at horizontal line. But when we are going to have two vanishing point in one horizontal line, then we have to decide where we want to have those vanishing point. The most important rule is to have a very far uh, vanishing point. Both vanishing points should be far away from each other. As close as the vanishing points are, they will create a very distorted image, and that's why we are going to have a very far away from the each other, but we have to take them at one line, which is horizontal line. So we are going to have one horizontal line at the sheet, which can be from one edge to second edge of the sheet, and we can create vanishing point very near to the edge of the sheet. So the middle distance of the sheet should be more, and we can get more space to create objects or drawings, so that when we create objects and drawings, they are not close enough that we can't be able to understand the details of the object. As close as the vanishing points, the detail are going to be less, and they will be overlapped. So we are going to have vanishing point at the edge of the horizontal line, or at the very nearby the end of the sheet, and we try to have a more space to create objects between the two vanishing point. This is the most important thing to decide. At first point, one we have a horizontal line, and then we have two vanishing point, and the third part is to finalize the view, which we can have the bird eye view, the warm eye view, or the street eye view, which we already discussed. What kind of eye view we are going to have. The second part is that first part is to decide where we are going to have vanishing point. Second part is where which view we are going to make, and then we have to define what part details we want to show more. Okay, we already discussed, if the object is near to the right right vanishing point, the detail of the left side is shown more. Okay, and if we have a object near to left vanishing point, then the detail of right side of the object can be shown more. So it means that we have to decide where we want to put our object, or where we are going to start our object, so we can show the detail, and which side of the object we want to show more, and which side of the object we are going to show less. That can be decided before you start your drawing. You can decide it in your mind, and then you go for the drawing. And we already discussed that all the drawings should be made in construction lines, and in one point perspective and 2 point perspective, and all the perspectives. We are going to have a lot of lines which we are not required at the end, and they can be erased at the end, or if we are going to have them, then it will be very confusing for the drawing to be understand. So we have to erase them. And the best part and the best thing and best part of drafting is that we can create our images in construction line, and then we can solid the only those lines which we need, and which are the detail of the object, and we can erase all the lines which are not required, or we can just left them because they are in construction, and they don't create any distortion in the drawing, and they will be like construction lines for the drawing, and create a drama in drawing. So these are the basic lines, basic requirements which you have to think before you start your drawing um, in the paper. So in 2 point perspective, we have to define these rules before we start our drawing. Those are the two perspective which we are going to learn, basically, which are mostly required, and we draw all the objects most of the time in 1 point perspective and in the 2 point perspective. This is the 3 point perspective, and we are going to overlook this all the other perspective like 3 point, 4 point and 5 point, and what is the difference between all these perspective. But we are not going to go for the detail because we don't have that much time to and these are the perspective which can be learned very easily when you came to know the details of the 1 point perspective and 2 point perspective. So we are going to learn the major parts, which is 1 point and 2 point perspective, and over here we are going to learn about the basics of the 3 point perspective. And if you see that we have two vanishing points is on horizontal line, and the third vanishing point is above the horizontal line or below the horizontal line. In first drawing we can see that it is above the horizontal line, it is below the horizontal line, the vanishing third vanishing point. And in the second drawing we can see that over here we can have both at the top of the horizontal line and at the bottom of the horizontal line, the third vanishing point. And it shows how the object looks when it comes with the third vanishing point, and it goes very um, extraordinary, you can say distorted image with 3 point perspective. So we can see that it's more different and it's not very realistic, but it is more like realistic but not very realistic to the perspective. As we go far, 4 point perspective we are going to discuss next is more less than realistic. These two images are based on 4 point perspective. If you we can see that in the first image there is a horizontal line and there is two vanishing point at the horizontal line, and vertically there are two vanishing point as well. And the image is going to vanish at the vanishing point 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that's make it the straight object a little bit round. In the second image, that image is rendered and show the more detail. If that was a straight door, it is going to be shown as a round, or we can see that it's in curve, because at the vanishing points are going to we are going to add more vanishing point, the more curvy object is going to be appear on the sheet. This is the impact of having more vanishing points. These two images are about the 5 point perspective, and we can see that on the four sides we have four vanishing point, two at horizontal line, two at vertical line, and one is at the middle. And when we have five vanishing points, the image is more like a round shape, and all the images and all the objects are getting more curvy and more roundness in them. And so all, because all the vanishing points are ending the object, and the basic of the object is very little. The both if in the first image we can see the buildings, and the second image we can see the cubes, both are very curvy, and it doesn't show the straight lines. All the lines are showing somehow are going to vanish on the vanishing point, which are at the four sides and the middle, so that's all the lines are getting very curvy. This is the 6 point perspective, and we can see that it's turned into a ball. It's a completely round shaped, and all the images, although it's buildings and although its detail are very straight, and in the real it's the image is very straight and it is buildings. But when we are going to have six vanishing points, the object is going to be very round, and all the details which we create they are going to vanish at every point which is created on vertical, horizontal, middle and up, and top and bottom of the object. So it's going to be very round, and it's not going to be realistic, as we are going to have in 1 point perspective and 2 point perspective. So these two perspectives are the more realistic and more mathematically defined perspectives, 1 point and 2 point. And as we go 3 point, 4 point, 5 point, and 6 point perspectives, they are more curvy and roundness in them, and they show the more imaginary images, but the you can say the all the lines and angles are very accurate in even in 6 point perspective. It's very accurate and it shows the detail of the object, but the roundness is always over there.